It's Wednesday, July 13th, and this is your coffee break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski with a look at the latest Connecticut news. Frank Granito will join us with a look at the forecast and a Nutmeg sports update. We'll also be taking a look back on this day in history. But first, on to today's headlines. Darien police are investigating a pair of residential burglaries that took place over the 4th of July weekend. A resident of South Trail was the first to report their house had been burglarized after returning home from a vacation at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Tuesday, July 5th. The homeowner realized that things were out of place and found the master bedroom was ransacked with jewelry still on the floor. Police said there were no signs of forced entry and the home was believed to have been unlocked at the time of that burglary. The homeowner was waiting for his wife to return to confirm the pieces of missing jewelry. The couple left for vacation at about 5 in the morning, July 1st. Police conducted a canvass of the neighborhood, but there were no reports of anything unusual. And in other news today, a 19-year-old Norwalk man was arrested yesterday on charges of sexual assault of a juvenile back in 2015. The Norwalk Special Victims Unit arrested Jose Prado on an active arrest warrant charging him with sexual assault. In March, Special Victims detectives received a complaint that alleged that Prado had committed sexual assault against the victim back in 2015. SVU detectives conducted an extensive investigation which led to a warrant being issued for Prado's arrest. He was charged with first-degree sexual assault, fourth-degree sexual assault, and risk of injury to a minor. He'll appear in court on July 20th. And the Daily Voice is reporting that Stamford police are investigating the death of a 2-month-old child. The young child had suffered severe head trauma, according to Captain Richard Conklin this morning. Police didn't release any further details of the child's death, including the gender of the baby. Officers are conducting more interviews at the scene of 30 Shelburne Road in Stamford. Police are not ruling out an accident, but are keeping all aspects open as they continue the investigation. And Hearst, Connecticut media reports that Kayla Mooney, the former Danbury High School teacher charged with having sex with a student, was acquitted of all charges Tuesday. A 7-member jury deliberated for nearly 2 hours and delivered their verdict shortly before 3 in the afternoon. After that verdict was read, Mooney, who had been charged with 3 counts of second-degree sexual assault and providing liquor to a minor, cried and hugged family members and supporters seated in the gallery behind her. Mooney declined to comment on her acquittal, but her attorney, William Westcott, said it was clear the jury made the correct decision. Westcott said, "I've been representing Kayla Mooney for 18 months now. She told me before she was even arrested that there was nothing to these charges. She's maintained her innocence throughout, so we're happy with her and her family." In his closing argument, Westcott said Mooney's accuser, a male student, was not a credible witness. And in Reading, an unknown suspect forcefully removed temporary speed bumps from Umpqua Road last night. They are being replaced on the road today by the highway department there. The traffic devices had been placed on the road in recent weeks to keep the speed of cars around 25 miles per hour, while Umpqua acts as an unofficial pass-around for Route 53, which is temporarily closed for bridge repairs. The police have opened a criminal investigation into the speed bump removal, according to Police Chief Douglas Fuchs, and he said possible charges for those actions might include criminal mischief, disorderly conduct, and, if any part of the speed bumps is missing, a larceny charge. A number of residents have taken to social media in recent days to express opinions on those speed bumps. Some expressed their distaste for the traffic devices, citing damaged cars and effect on bad backs, while others voiced their appreciation for anything that keeps speeds low on local roads. And the Connecticut Beardsley Zoo in Bridgeport is welcoming players of Pokemon Go. The zoo is urging visitors to enjoy both the real-life attractions and the virtual ones by visiting the zoo's 10 Pokestops. The zoo is open daily from 9 to 4, and if you share your funniest Pokemon Go finds on social media with the Beardsley Zoo, you can win a free family 4-pass. You can find out more at beardsleyzoo.org. And in other news today, 24-year-old Evan Reinhart, who grew up in New Canaan, was part of the New Canaan High class of 2009, died from a heroin overdose in New Haven a year ago, July 15th. Paul and Marge Reinhardt, Evan's parents, spoke to the New Canaan Advertiser reporter Rich Durazo for an in-depth look at addiction and their son's life and struggle with the disease. Evan's struggle begins long before his wisdom teeth surgery that would perhaps change his life forever, and ends shortly after leaving his fourth attempt at rehabilitation to find the final fix of his life. With the growing number of heroin overdoses in our region, it is an in-depth look at one family's story that you can read at ncadvertiser.com. And in other news, Yale University has asked the state not to pursue criminal charges against a former worker who destroyed a stained glass window depicting slaves in a cotton field. The Hartford Courant reports that Corey Menifree, who is black, told reporters outside New Haven Superior Court on Tuesday that he probably shouldn't have broken the window last month, but he found the image disturbing. The window was inside Calhoun College, named for former Vice President John C. Calhoun, an ardent defender of slavery during the 19th century. The college's name has been the subject of protests by students who want it changed. The 38-year-old former dining hall employee was in court Tuesday facing a felony charge of criminal mischief and reckless endangerment. Yale says Menifree resigned, and it says it had already planned to remove that window. But switching gears now, we're going to throw it over to Frank Granito for a look at today's forecast. Frank, what's going on?
Well, Kate, it's partly cloudy out right now, a little bit of breeze out there too. Gives us a break from that recent heat spell we've had. A high of 86 today. It'll feel just like that with a low of 68 for tonight. Humidity sitting right around 65% for the day, and we might see some winds up around 15, 17 miles per hour in the late afternoon. But don't get too comfortable. Tomorrow we expect the clouds to roll throughout the entire day with high chances of rain and scattered thunderstorms in both the early morning and late afternoon. Kate, back to you.
Frank, thanks so much. I think you have a long career ahead of you as a weather person on Coffee Break. All right, we are going to step out for a break, and when we come back, we take a look back on this day in history. Frank has a Nutmeg sports update, and we have some more local news coming up after this. Have a sports injury or a slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist fast, without an appointment. Biking, golf, tennis, soccer, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care, open Monday through Saturday, now in 2 locations. The iPark building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk and 36 Old Kings Highway South in Darien. Or go to coastalorthoexpress.com, like them on Facebook.
Keep your future star active and happy this summer at Future Stars Sports Academy camps and clinics. The Academy is offering sessions throughout Fairfield County. Sign up for a week of basketball, cheerleading, football, or a multi-sports camp. At Future Stars Academy, children learn the fundamentals while under the supervision of qualified coaches. And what sets the Academy apart is its special Lessons of Life sessions, teaching values and focusing on building self-esteem, friendships, and honesty. Located at Sports Center Connecticut in Shelton and in Sports in Trumbull. Register online at futurestarssportsacademy.com.
You're watching the HAN Network, and you're not alone. Nearly 1 million people have watched our live sports, news, and entertainment programming since the network launched in August 2015. Advertise on the network that reaches Fairfield County, Connecticut's most engaged audience. Contact Advertising Director Jessica Murrin at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
We are back on this July 13th edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, filling in for Donald Eng today with a look back on this day in history. Starting with 1923, the Hollywood sign is officially dedicated in the hills above Hollywood, Los Angeles, California. The 45-foot letters originally spelled out Hollywoodland and was named for a subdevelopment, but the 4 last letters are dropped after a renovation in 1949. The sign is actually level when viewed straight on. From the ground, the contours give it its distinctive wavy appearance. 1977, New York City. Lightning strikes a Hudson River substation, creating a domino effect that results in an almost complete blackout of New York City. Occurring as it did in the midst of a period of financial and social turmoil, the blackout leads to widespread fires and looting. Both LaGuardia and Kennedy airports had to shut down, as did the city's tunnels and subway system, which trapped 4,000 riders when the power went out. 1985, the Live Aid benefit concert takes place in London and Philadelphia, as well as other venues such as Sydney and Moscow. Phil Collins famously performed at both events, playing the London show, then taking the Concorde across the Atlantic to New York and arriving in Philadelphia by helicopter. How big was the event? The reunion of Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young did not make the televised portion. And finally, recent history 2013, there was this.
Okay, if you'll please publish the verdict.
In the Circuit Court of the 18th Judicial Circuit in and for Seminole County, Florida, State of Florida versus George Zimmerman. Verdict: we, the jury, find George Zimmerman not guilty. So say we all, foreperson.
That was George Zimmerman being found not guilty in the shooting of Trayvon Martin. The Virginia-born insurance agent claimed self-defense in killing the teen. He has been arrested numerous times since, including a domestic arrest for throwing a wine bottle at his girlfriend, but charges have been dropped each time after the alleged victims recanted their stories. All right, that does it for your look back on this day in history. We're now going to throw it back to Frank for a Nutmeg Sports Update. Frank.
Thank you, Kate. Former Darien football and lacrosse standout Mark Ivanchek has been named Hearst, Connecticut Male Athlete of the Year. This is just the latest accomplishment for Ivanchek, who was also named the Gatorade Player of the Year for football this past season, as well as being named Connecticut Player of the Year by U.S. Lacrosse for both the junior and senior season. Mark graduates as the all-time career sack leader for the state of Connecticut after passing NFL great Dwight Freeney's record in the fall. Mark was a 4-year starter for both football and lacrosse, and as a captain this year, led both teams to undefeated seasons. With the Open Championship set to begin tomorrow morning over in Scotland, let's get you in the right state of mind as we take a look at some local golf boys making big news of their own. Justin Clark of New Canaan and Max Theodorkis of Danbury have advanced from the match play portion to the quarterfinals in the 99th Met Junior Golf Championship. The play began this morning as Max went off at 8:10 versus William Rand from New York, followed by Justin at 8:20 versus Christian Oakley of Southampton. The tournament is being hosted by the Patterson Club in Fairfield. And finally, round robin play for the Connecticut 13 and under Babe Ruth State Tournament concluded last night, and we are down to our final 4 teams. Waterford and Stamford advanced from bracket number 1, along with New Milford and Darien from the second bracket. We'll be live at Stamford's Cubetta Stadium Thursday and Friday to bring you the rest of the tournament, and be sure to tune into Nutmeg Sports today at 2 o'clock for a special preview of those broadcasts. That's going to do it for this Nutmeg Sports Update. Kate, back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Frank. Well, getting back to a little more news today, Darien will enter into an agreement with Stamford Emergency Medical Services to provide 24-hour paramedics within the town following a unanimous vote by the Board of Selectmen Tuesday morning. The board opted to pursue a contract with Stamford EMS based on their existing partnership with Post 53 rather than seeking other candidates. Stamford Hospital and EMS currently working to provide a number of support and sponsorship services for Post 53, including training and paramedic response when necessary. According to a study released by McGrath Consulting earlier this year, paramedics accompany about 30% of all Post 53 emergency transports. Darien First Selectman Jamie Stevenson said that Post 53 and new director Nancy Hurling were anxious for the board's final decision, but it is very open to furthering its relationship with Stamford EMS. Much more on that story at DarienTimes.com. And the Connecticut Department of Transportation has announced some upcoming nighttime closures of southbound on and off ramps, exit 31 to 35 on the Merritt Parkway, both in Stamford and New Canaan. Those will happen Monday, July 18th through Thursday, July 21st for paving, but you can follow updates and work schedules at ct.gov/DOT. And Fairfield University will host U.S. Senator Richard Blumenthal for an opioid prescription panel discussion about best practices for prescribers, what's working now, on Wednesday, August 17th at 10 in the morning in the Dolan School of Business dining room. Appearing with Senator Blumenthal will be Linda Mascolo, leading APRN at New Era Rehabilitation Center, Greg Fills from Yale New Haven Hospital Pain Management Center, and Lynn Madden, President and CEO of APT Foundation, along with some representatives from the Medical Society, the VA, and the Department of Consumer Protection. And the violent deaths of black men and police officers in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Falcon Heights, Minnesota, and Dallas have left many sad, angry, and divided. Stratford's clergy are hoping to encourage unity with a candlelight vigil on Thursday. The First Baptist Church of Stratford, the Stratford Interfaith Clergy Association, and the First Congregational Church in Fairfield will host the vigil at 8 o'clock at night Thursday on the steps of the First Baptist Church, which is located on Stratford Avenue. Reverend Jeff Lukens, pastor of the Lordship Community Church, said members of the Baptist Church and the First Congregational Church wanted to do something to remember those who died following the incidents last week. Lukens said members of the two churches had been holding conversations on racism and race relations in an effort to better understand each other and work toward eradicating racism. And when Ridgefield was placed under a tornado watch last Friday with violent thunderstorms forecast, many residents received automated telephone calls warning of that weather threat. Fortunately, Ridgefield didn't even get a stiff breeze, but the calls, which were authorized by First Selectman Rudy Marconi, were the same kind of messages that updated Ridgefielders during Hurricane Sandy and other storms that have caused damage. They've also been used to alert people of local missing persons. However, town officials in Ridgefield are concerned that not everyone may be getting those calls. According to Town Deputy Emergency Manager Dick Ahrens, only hardwired landline phone numbers are automatically entered into the state's E911 system. People with cell phones or who are using an internet phone system may not automatically be included in that database. However, there is a solution. They must enroll through the CT Alert system. Enrollment is easy. You can go to the website, ridgefieldct.org, move down the home page a bit, and click on the CT Alert icon in the shape of the state of Connecticut. Well, we are going to step out for a break, and when we come back, we're going to recap some of the top stories we're following today on your coffee break after this. For more than 50 years, Triple S has been Fairfield County's expert service for carpet, upholstery, and drapery cleaning. We provide the best in repairs and in-depth restoration, understanding fabrics and how to properly clean and restore them. Our staff will come to your home to clean your wall-to-wall carpet to perfection. We can also pick up your fine carpets and bring them to our facilities. With locations in Norwalk, Stamford, and Stratford, Triple S will get the job done fast, big or small. At Triple S, you can count on our people as well as our cleaning. Find us at triplesclean.com or 203-847-8000.
I really wanted something that felt like a home. Coming from a big house, I wanted the feel of a home as opposed to a condo. New Canaan is 6 minutes down the road. New Canaan's a beautiful little town to walk around. I work in Westport. My commute is 20 minutes. It's close to Westchester where my family is, so the location is ideal. There is no other townhome that compares in the area. This is where I want to be.
Warm weather, light breezes, boats are in the water. There's no better place to celebrate summer than the Dock Shop. Whether in Darien at 51 Tokenique Road or Westport at 609 Riverside Avenue, the Dock Shop is where you'll find everything you need to kick off summer. From the latest summer apparel to the newest fishing tackle, the Dock Shop will help you get the most out of your next beach day or harbor cruise. At the Dock Shop, you'll find a wonderful selection of items made in the USA and right here in New England, all with a distinct nautical flair. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the coastal lifestyle, this is a unique place to shop. DockShop.com.
What's happening up in Hartford and what's trending in the Nutmeg State?
Join Kate Czaplinski
And Josh Fisher
on CT Pulse live Wednesdays at 12:30 to find out.
We talk to the leaders and newsmakers while breaking down the stories you should be paying attention to each week.
With the help of HAN's editorial cartoonist Doug Smith, we take a humorous look at the news of the week. We talk about everything you were told you should avoid bringing up in polite company.
CT Pulse, Wednesdays at 12:30 on the HAN Network.
I'm John Kovach. I'm a newspaper editor. I'm a high school football coach. I'm a television presenter. And I want you to love fishing as much as I do. Tune into Yankee Fisherman, Thursdays at 1 on the HAN network. It's like going to the tackle shop without leaving your office.
We're back on this Wednesday edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, recapping some of the top stories we're following today, including that Darien police are investigating a pair of residential burglaries that took place over the 4th of July weekend. A resident of South Trail was first to report their house had been burglarized after returning home from a vacation on Tuesday, July 5th. The homeowner realized that things were out of place and found that the master bedroom had been ransacked with jewelry still on the floor. Police said there were no signs of forced entry and the home was believed to have been unlocked during the time of that burglary. The homeowner was waiting for his wife to return to confirm some of the pieces of missing jewelry. The couple had left their home for vacation at about 5 in the morning, July 1st. Police conducted a canvass of the neighborhood, but there were no reports of anything unusual. And a 19-year-old Norwalk man was arrested yesterday on charges of sexual assault of a juvenile back in 2015. The Norwalk Special Victims Unit arrested Jose Prado on an active warrant charging him with sexual assault. Back in March, detectives received a complaint that alleged that Prado had committed a sexual assault against a juvenile victim in 2015. SVU detectives conducted an extensive investigation, which led to a warrant being issued for Prado's arrest. He was charged with first-degree sexual assault, fourth-degree sexual assault, and risk of injury to a minor. He's scheduled to appear in court July 20th. And the Daily Voice is reporting this morning that Stamford police are investigating the death of a 2-month-old child. The young child had suffered severe head trauma, according to Captain Richard Conklin. Police didn't release any further details of the child's death, including the gender of the baby. Officers are conducting more interviews at the scene at 30 Shelburne Road in Stamford. Police are not ruling out an accident, but say they are keeping all aspects open as they continue to investigate. And Hearst, Connecticut media reports that Kayla Mooney, the former Danbury High School teacher charged with having sex with a student, was acquitted of all charges on Tuesday. A 7-member jury deliberated for nearly 2 hours and delivered the verdict shortly before 3 in the afternoon. As that verdict was read, Mooney, who had been charged with 3 counts of second-degree sexual assault and 1 count of providing liquor to a minor, cried and hugged family members and supporters seated in the gallery behind her. Mooney declined to comment on the acquittal, but her attorney, William Westcott, said it was clear that the jury made the correct decision. Westcott said, "I've been representing Kayla Mooney for 18 months now. She told me before she was even arrested that there was nothing to these charges. She's maintained her innocence throughout, so he said we're happy with her and her family." In his closing argument, Westcott said that Mooney's accuser, a male student, was not a credible witness. And in Reading, an unknown suspect forcefully removed temporary speed bumps from Umpqua Road last night. They're being replaced today by the Highway Department. The traffic devices had been placed on that road in recent weeks to keep the speed of cars around 25 miles per hour, while Umpqua acts as an unofficial pass-around for Route 53, which is closed for bridge repairs. The police have opened a criminal investigation into that speed bump removal, and Police Chief Douglas Fuchs said that possible charges for those actions could include criminal mischief, disorderly conduct, and a larceny charge if any part of those speed bumps is missing. A number of residents had taken to social media in recent days to express opinions on speed bumps on Umpqua Road. Some expressed their distaste for the traffic devices, citing damaged cars and effect on bad backs, while others voiced their appreciation for anything that keeps the speed low on local roads. And finally, the Connecticut Beardsley Zoo in Bridgeport is welcoming players of Pokemon Go. The zoo is urging visitors to enjoy both the real-life attractions and the virtual ones by visiting the zoo's 10 Pokestops. The zoo is open from 9 to 4 each day, and if you share your funniest Pokemon Go finds, you can win a free Family 4 Pass. Find out more at beardsleyzoo.org. We're going to take one final look at the forecast with Frank Granito. Frank.
Well, again, a high of 86 today, and the humidity is way down around 65, so the perfect day to get outside and catch all those Pokemon if you are one of those Pokemon Go players right now. A low of 68 for tonight, and again, tomorrow it will be a little spottier as we'll have clouds throughout the day, chances of rain and thunderstorm both early and late in the afternoon, Kate.
All All right, Frank, and what's coming up on Nutmeg Sports at 2 o'clock?
We have got a special preview of our coverage for the Little League Babe Ruth State Tournament coming up. We'll be joined by a couple members of a coaching staff, as well as a representative from the Babe Ruth Tournament working down at Stanford's Cubetta Stadium to tell us how all that's going as we preview our semifinal coverage for tomorrow night.
All right, sounds good. That's coming up at 2 o'clock. And at 12:30 today, live in studio, CT Pulse with myself and Josh Fisher. We're going to be joined by Lieutenant James Perez from the Fairfield Police Department to talk about last week's violence in Dallas and how police are responding and trying to build community there. Melvin Mason, editor of the Stratford Star, will also join us to give his perspective as a journalist on some of the recent violence and the Black Lives Matter movement. That and a lot more coming up at 12:30. But we are going to wrap things up here on your coffee break, and we'll see you tomorrow at 11. Have a great day.